Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to basically talk to you guys about how you can recognize signs, symbols and synchronicities from the universe, and also how you can recognize whether or not you are under a spell. Okay, there are two common similarities between between these two things. Okay. So yes, before we get into that, I just wanted to say thank you everybody who has subscribed to this channel, especially the people from my other channel who've come over to support this channel. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate all the newbies. Welcome. The signs will be posted, every day or every few days. Okay, so just make sure that you're checking out the signs and collective readings, the love readings, the generals. I do everything, okay? But yeah, so today we're going to talk about that. So firstly, we're going to start off with how to recognize when the universe is trying to send you a sign, a symbol, or a synchronicity, okay? Now, before we get into this, I would just like to say this is my opinion through experiences, through what I've observed, just through knowledge, through wisdom, through, different things. Everyone is going to have their own opinion. You may have different opinions on how you feel like the universe is trying to communicate with you. You also may have had different experiences about how to recognize when or not you're under a spell, okay? So, everyone is entitled to their own opinion because everybody has shared different experiences, okay? But I'm just helping as a guide to kind of just show you a few ways as to how you can recognize this, okay? So the similarities between both spell work and when the universe is trying to get your attention is reoccurring events, okay? So but regardless of whether it's spell work or whether it's your ancestors, your spirit guides, or the universe trying to talk to you, you're going to notice a reoccurring pattern of events. Okay, that's very uncanny. It's very ominous. It's something that seems like it's a coincidence, but it's not. Okay, like an unnatural pattern. So let's start off with the signs from the universe. So how to recognize when the universe is trying to get your attention. You may talk to the universe, you may pray about something, and you may ask for a sign. Now, the universe is going to give you the sign through nature, okay? Through your surroundings, okay? How to recognize this is, let's just use a butterfly, for example, okay? Say you live in a place where you see butterflies, but you don't really see tropical colored butterflies. There's the common brown butterflies or white butterflies or pastel blue, but to see a multicolored butterfly is actually quite rare. To see a bright blue butterfly with purple elements on it is really rare, okay? If you see a colorful butterfly, okay, that really draws your attention, that is your first sign. Then you may see that same butterfly or a butterfly with very similar colors on a t-shirt that is on somebody that walks past you. You then might go into a shop and the theme of the shop is butterflies, or you may speak to someone and they say, "Oh my goodness, I've got butterflies in my stomach and I really fancy wearing something green and wearing something purple and blue today." Or the person may have a purple blue outfit on and start talking about butterflies. You may go home and then turn your TV on and then there's a big massive butterfly that looks just like the one that you saw. You know what I mean? It's just so many events that are kind of how can I say? It's like you're seeing the same thing but in different places. And it's almost like, okay, this can't be a coincidence. Everywhere I go, I keep seeing this butterfly, but it's kind of it's the same colors or the same color. The universe is trying to get your attention, okay? This could be as well, you could be thinking about something and then all of a sudden somebody calls you and it's almost like they have the answer to what it is that you were thinking about without you even having to ask them. Okay, so that could be the way of that could be the universe's way of giving you that answer through a person. So you could be thinking to yourself, okay, how can I make more money? I've got a business idea, or my finances are all right, but I want to make more. And you're just sitting there and you're thinking, you're completely lost, you don't really know what to do. All of a sudden one of your friends calls you that you haven't spoken to in years or months, okay? And they call you and they say, oh my goodness, you know what, I was thinking about you and I've got a really good idea for a business. And then that's your answer. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Then it's like, oh my goodness, like I was just thinking that. And, you know, what are the chances that someone who I haven't heard from for a really long time is going to call me and give me the answer to my question, okay? Or you could be thinking about, you know, someone that you love or someone that you're really interested in, and maybe you kind of feel like this person isn't interested in you anymore, or they are not aware of your existence, and then all of a sudden you get a notification saying so and so has viewed your profile, and you're like, oh shit, okay. But you know what I mean? You haven't spoken to that person since last year or in months, or it's someone that you see in passing, but you know, you've never actually spoken to them, but you know, you have each other's social networks, but you haven't had a chance to kind of actually talk or interact. You've never seen their name come up before, or at least not in an entire year, and then all of a sudden they randomly pop up. That would be your confirmation that that person is thinking about you, or yes, to go for it, or yes, you know, they like you, or yes, blah, 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 okay? But it's just something that happens out of nowhere, but again, it's a reoccurring thing. So you may see that person pop up on your profile. The next thing you know, the next day, you may see their name come up in the credits of a program that you're watching. And then the following day, you may hear a love song that da-da-da. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But it's kind of like something that's reoccurring, that's going to keep trying to get your attention. And until you actually understand, okay, that is the answer to my question, or the universe is saying this, that, and the third, then the patterns will stop. Okay, and then the universe will then find a different way to get your attention about something else. Okay, but yes. So basically, you know, reoccurring events, coincidences, things that just make you go, like, no way, oh my goodness, or do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like it may feel like it's a setup, like things have been orchestrated, but like there's no way. Okay, there's just no way. It's kind of like, you know, with the friend example that you haven't heard from in like 2 years. There is no way in hell that your friend is going to know that you're thinking about a business opportunity and they just randomly phone you or reach out to you when you're thinking about it. You haven't spoken to that person. You have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what you're doing. Okay. So yeah, so that's one way to recognize. So make sure that you are paying attention. Also, you know, the universe sends the answers through people, and sometimes it's difficult for us to be accepting of, you know, the answers in which we seek, because it's coming from a source that we don't necessarily want it to come from, or it's coming in a way that we're not expecting. So, you know, sometimes when you're expecting confirmation from the universe, you have your own image of what you think that confirmation is going to be, and it's not always the case. So sometimes somebody may say something to you and it may be the harsh truth and you're kind of in denial about it, but it's like that's the universe's way of giving you the answer to that question. And then, you know, you may then go on, like I said, you may turn your TV on and it's almost like whatever the person said to you, you're hearing the same thing on the TV or on the radio, and then in the back of your mind you're feeling that, but it's kind of like because it's something that you don't want to hear, you're rejecting it, but that's the answer the universe keeps telling you. And a lot of the times what happens is when you reject what the universe is trying to say to you, but it's really important, you'll then find that you keep going through tower moments. So again, that's another reoccurring pattern. So you may think, what's going on with my life? How can I, you know, change things, or da-da-da? And the universe is like, I keep telling you need to let that person go, or you need to let go of an idea or an ideology, or you need to change your behavior. And people keep telling you this because I'm putting that information in those people to be a guide to you, and you're ignoring it. So now I'm going to create a tower for you. Okay. And it's normally with some people, it takes for their foundation to completely fall apart, or for something really, really bad to happen for them to have a wake up call. And then when they start looking back at all the signs and they think, oh my God, yeah, so that's what the universe was trying to tell me. Okay, so it can come in many different forms and many different ways, but you know, it's going to be a reoccurring pattern. The universe is going to keep trying to talk to you and keep trying to talk to you, whether that's through people, whether that's through nature. Okay, sometimes you may see, like, for example, birds. You know, I've got a like really strong connection with like nature and animals. I've got Gemini and Taurus in my 11th house, which is ruled by Aquarius, which is, you know, Aquarius rules the skies, the universe, this, that, and the third. And Gemini rules communication, telepathy. Taurus rules nature. So I have a natural, I know how to communicate with nature and the environment and the stars and the ethers. So when I see a certain type of bird, or a group of birds or whatnot, I understand immediately what is being told to me. So that could be another thing. You may be walking and then you see a bird, or you see a cat, or you see this, and maybe like you never see cats or you never see dogs, but this cat is following you around and it's like a really bright striking color. Or you keep seeing the same number of birds in different places. You keep seeing magpies all the time. You know, pay attention to what the animals are trying to tell you. Most people would just be like, oh, I just saw a squirrel, I just saw a cat. But it's like, no, sometimes that is the answer for something. What is the symbolism? It could be your animal totem, okay? So yes, so let's move on to spell work now. How to recognize you are under a spell, particularly I would say a love spell as well. Again, it's a reoccurring pattern of unnatural events. Now, say somebody put a love spell on you, and this is someone that you're not attracted to, you wouldn't normally be attracted to. I mean, we can be attracted to people that we wouldn't normally be attracted to. That's not a thing. But this is someone that you have no sexual desire for. You don't love them, you don't want to fuck them, nothing. All of a sudden, you know, you're obsessing about this person, you can't leave this person alone. Or, you know, this could be like an ex that you completely don't love them anymore, and but every time they come back into your life, you keep accepting them back in. But like when you look at them, you're just like, I don't even like you, I'm not attracted to you, I don't find you sexy, I don't want to fuck you, I just don't like your energy, I don't like anything about you, I don't want to build a life with you, I don't want to have your kids, nothing, nada, nope. But then you're thinking to yourself, well, why do I keep accepting you? Like, you know, when like, you let someone in your house and you're just sitting there, you're just like, I don't like you here, I want you to leave. But there's something in you, it's almost like there's this energy that keeps inviting them in, or keeps answering their call, or keeps you just, it's almost like you can't stop yourself. But your mind is telling you, it's like your mind is telling you one thing, but your actions are telling you another. That is one of the ways that you can recognize that you're under some kind of spell, because logically you can't understand why it is that you're doing something. So it's almost like your free will is being messed with, but your higher self is trying to tell you something is being done here, because your spirit guides, your energy was inside you, your higher self is fighting the energy. You don't like this person, you don't want them to be in your vicinity, but yet here you are. So obviously this person has put spell work on you to try to control you, to make you be with them. But you could be sitting there and you're just like, I don't like you. When you kiss them, you feel nothing, but you don't understand why you keep doing it. And what will happen is, when it comes to spell work, especially if you don't feel anything for the person, it will keep backfiring. That's your higher self's way of trying to fight the work. So you may find that every weekend you break up with this person, or every 3 days you have an argument, you break up, and then the same pattern comes again. The next week they come round, you make up, and then da-da-da. But it's like a same cycle, and you're just like, every 3 days or every weekend or every week we break up, and then the following week we get back together. Like, it happens, it's reoccurring, but every 3 days, like you start like clocking it, like every so-and-so, this seems to happen between us. It's almost like the spell's not working, and then the person goes back and revamps it, and so on and so forth. But you're not understanding, why do I keep getting back together with you every week or every 2 weeks when I don't like you, I don't love you? Why do you keep, like, what is happening here? Okay, so your mind is trying to make sense of the situation. So, you know, I always say, when your mind, you know, your heart and your private parts are not in alignment, it means that there is something wrong. Because when it comes to somebody, you know, I mean, we all sometimes go back and forth when it comes to our emotions and our feelings. But if your mind is fighting you, your heart and your mind are like, listen, we don't love him, we don't like him or her. But your actions, you know, are doing otherwise. It's like, okay, what's really going on here? And what will happen as well is the universe will try to get involved and bring in those signs and synchronicities and those ominous kind of like events to try and show you like you are under a spell here. So again, something will just keep reoccurring, but it's, like I said, it's an unnatural pattern, okay? And also you'll recognize as well that the person that you're dealing with may just randomly get really, really angry. And you're just like, why are you getting really upset? Because they know that their spell work isn't working. They're getting frustrated because they can't tell you like, oh, I put you under a spell. So what will happen is when they see that you're energetically fighting them and they can tell that, you're not really in love and it's forced, they will start getting really angry and irate, and then you might have an argument. You're just thinking, okay, what's really going on? You're just like, oh, thank God that fucker's gone. And the next thing you know, they're back. And it's like, okay. Or you may have this urge and this desire to reach out and to contact them, but you don't actually want to. You know what I mean? So it's almost like you want to speak to this person, but you're just thinking, but why do I want to speak to them? You look at them and it's like, I'm not attracted to this person. I actually don't want them back in my life. What is really happening here? Okay, this person has put you under a spell because they don't want to release you. They don't want to let you go. Now, it's very different. Obviously, we naturally have this urge to reach out to someone or to want to be with them or whatnot. But when you love someone and when you don't. So I'm talking about when you look at someone, you don't feel anything. Like I said, you're not physically attracted, emotionally, nothing. But you're talking to them or you're chilling with them or you're going out on dates, but you know that you don't like this person. And there's like this energetic frequency that keeps bringing you back. What's going on? So, that person has most likely put a spell on you. And what will happen is the spell will keep backfiring because you don't have any genuine love for them. So then it will create chaos between you and that person. And that's why you'll keep breaking up. And it's like a pattern. Okay. Now, I always say that, I don't believe in doing spell work on people. I don't believe in trying to manipulate or control anybody because it always backfires. There's always a debt to pay. There's a difference between manifesting and then just doing spells on people. You should really be careful because you don't know people's placements. You don't know, you just don't know what you're dealing with when it comes to certain things. And, also as well, for love work to really be effective, the person has to love you. They have to like you. There has to be some kind of energy like within them that you can amplify. Okay, it's kind of like if you're doing money work. You can't do money work and manifest money if you don't have money itself. You need to work with something like, even if it's like coppers, pennies, coins, okay, notes. You have to have something, the base of something, and then the idea of the magic is to amplify, is to multiply, it's to intensify what you already have. So if you're doing love work to make someone fall in love with you, eventually you're going to start breaking up and it's going to backfire because that person genuinely doesn't have any desire for you. So there's nothing for your spell work to amplify or intensify. Okay, it's just basically just manipulation. It's kind of like you're creating this illusion, but the person deep down inside knows that they're not attracted to you or they don't want to be with you. 17, as I said that. So they will naturally fight against it. Okay, so yeah. I remember one time I was dating someone, this was years ago, who I knew was doing love work on me because he kept making me watch like these like love spell ritual things, and he was putting them on YouTube. He I feel like he felt like I wasn't really paying attention, but I was. And then I remember, I think I asked him and I said, do you do this? And he was like, no, I just thought it was interesting, because he was basically saying that he's into like, African spirituality and da-da-da, and he used to watch lectures and stuff. But there was this one, I think it was like an Oshun love spell that he had put on the TV, and it was like a honey jar spell. And I was thinking to myself, why is he watching this? But anyway, what the person was saying about the spell is they were saying that it will wear off if you're not meant to be together, or if the person doesn't really love you, the spell will start to wear off. So it's not one of those spells that's permanent, but if the person does love you, then it will intensify the bond and you'll basically be together forever. But the man was saying that the man was basically telling you what would happen when the spell isn't working, or when that person doesn't really want to be with you. And he was saying, you'll find that you guys will break up, or this, that, and the third, that there'll be, these chaotic patterns within your relationship and within your communication. So I was paying attention to it, but I didn't really think anything of it at the time. I was just kind of thinking it's a bit suspicious. Why is he watching stuff like this? Because he never really used to speak about like spiritual stuff or spell work or anything. So I just thought he was just watching it out of interest. Then afterwards, I found that, what the guy was saying, it was happening. Like, we would keep arguing, like every weekend, every Sunday. To this day, I still remember we would have an argument and we would break up. But the thing about him is I didn't want to be with him. I had completely lost respect for him. I'd lost love for him because he was really abusive. And it was one of those ones where it's just like, why do you keep coming back? Or why do I keep like bumping into you? Or why do I keep like, allowing you to communicate with me, because I was trying to understand it, because I'm one of those people, you don't respect me or whatnot, I don't, you know what I mean, goodbye and good day. Like, I'll give you a couple chances, and then once that Queen of Swords energy comes out and I understand, like, this is not what it is and it ain't what it ain't. And especially when I lose love for you, that's it. It's kind of like you can never get me back. So with him, I lost all emotions for him. So it never made sense to me. So my logical side was trying to, you know, and, you know, I've got so many Venusian placements. I understand love and what love feels like. And with him, it wasn't love. It was something else. But I had no desire for him. So I kept on thinking to myself, why do we keep doing this? Like, it's like a cycle. It's like a pattern of events. What is happening? And then that's when I realized that he was basically putting me under a love spell, and he would do it all the time. And then after, you know, when you start thinking about certain things that he would say, you know, because the devil always tells on themselves. So I started to really think about certain things, and like, he used to know how to speak different languages. So sometimes, like, sometimes he would say things to me in a different language and just be staring at me, and I'm like, what are you saying? And he'll be like, oh, nothing. And I'm just like, and then he will tell me that he said something, but I know that that's not what it is, because I'm thinking to myself, well, why are you saying it in a different language? Obviously, you don't want me to know what you're saying. So you know what I mean? You know when you start piecing the things together, and you're like, okay. But yeah, but it never worked. I kept fighting against it because I have strong will, and because I didn't love him. I didn't want to be with him, and he couldn't accept it. So he was trying to do spell work to try and trap me. And then, you know, when I understood what was happening, and like, I basically done like this kind of like cord cutting ritual protection shit to protect me from him. And when I understood that he was doing spell work on me, then I knew how to protect myself from it. And then after that, that was it. Like, I would see him. There was no desire to talk to him. He would like try to comment on my socials. One time he tried to come up to me. I completely act like I didn't see him. Like, there was like nothing would work. Because when I used to see him, when we used to break up, he would smile. He had like a really beautiful, charismatic smile, and it would always get me. This time it didn't, because I saw him for who he truly was. So anything that he did, I just didn't care, because he didn't have me under the spell anymore. And because I knew how to protect myself, it didn't work. So even if he thought about doing something, it would backfire. And then when he realized that, I remember when he would see me, he'd get so scared and then kind of like just run away. And this is someone that used to like bully me and be abusive towards me and everything. So it's funny how shit reverses when you kind of realize what's really going on. So he realized that he was not energetically powerful enough. He was a lot bigger than me, but energetically he wasn't powerful enough to keep me under his control. And when he understood that I realized what he was doing, he left me alone. Okay, and obviously because I protected myself. And I actually had, before I realized that I was under a spell, I remember I had this it wasn't a vision, it was kind of a vision. I was walking down the road and his face came into my mind, and I heard him say, I'm coming to defeat you. And I was just like, defeat who? Which part? So he wanted to conquer me. I don't know why that nigga was sent in my life. I just feel like he was like some spiritual devil that was trying to just stop me from my spiritual path and my spiritual growth. But when I realized what was happening, I was able to break the spell and to move on. So yeah, so for some of you, you know, you have to kind of recognize when something is happening and not being in denial about it, because sometimes you don't want to believe that, you know, someone that's supposed to love you or to be your best friend or to care about you is going to do spell work on you. But sometimes, you know, it's the same person who you're lying down with or who you're talking to every day. That's the person who's deceiving you. And with me, it was easier for me to recognize, just because I had fell out of so much, like, I just didn't respect him as a person anymore. So it was easy for me to kind of not be in denial. But I feel like if I still even respected him as a person, I'd probably find it a bit more difficult to kind of believe. But you know what I mean? For a long time, I was like, nah, he ain't doing that. But the reason why I didn't feel like he was doing it was because I didn't think he was into that stuff. But then I had to start reflecting on certain conversations that we've had. And I thought, no, but he's told me about this and he's told me about that. And I'm like, okay, this nigga's doing work. You know what I mean? So yeah, so you know, that's, you know, one of the ways that you can recognize that you're under a spell. Okay, also, if it's like not the person that you're actually with that's doing the spell work, so say you're really madly in love with someone, but there's chaos in your relationship and you just don't understand why. Like, you're perfectly compatible, normally you love each other, but there's always breakdowns in communication, just like what's going on. That could be an outside energy doing that. So again, reoccurring patterns, you and your partner just keep arguing or keep breaking up, and you logically you don't understand why. Or one day you may just be really nice to them and the next day you're really mean. Someone could be trying to do that in order to break you guys up. Okay, so your partner could be under a spell. Your partner may have weaker placements than you, so they may be more easily susceptible to spell work, easier to manipulate. They may have significant Pisces placements, so they can absorb things. Like, they could have a lot of water sign placement. So water signs are very magical, and they are the kings and queens of manipulation, but they too are not exempt from their own style of work, if that makes sense. So as much as they can manipulate people, they can also be under the influence just because of the energy that they rule. Okay, so like, you could be talking to your partner and one day they're just hopelessly in love with you, and the next day they're acting all cold, like they hate you, and you haven't had an argument, you haven't had a disagreement, you don't know what the fuck is going on. That person could be under a spell, and it's also obviously it's put on both of you so that you guys will break up. You know what I mean? So, and maybe you're trying to tell the person, I think you're under a spell, I think this person has done this to you, and logically they're not really believing it, or they're not understanding it. Maybe they're not believing that type of stuff, or maybe the person in which you feel like is doing it to them, they're just like, no, they would never do this and they would never do that. But there's always going to be one person that has a clearer vision, clearer insight, and is a bit more logical than the other. There's always going to be one person that it's easier for them to recognize when they're under a spell than another person, okay? But yeah, just, you know, reoccurring catastrophic events between you and your lover. You know, so yeah, that was a love spell. But, you know, somebody could be doing work on your life in terms of like wanting to create chaos and drama in your life. So this could be like, you know, you're normally a peaceful person, you don't have any drama going on. You don't have any enemies, nothing like that. And then all of a sudden you go outside and then people are just mean to you. And then you come home and then your friend calls you and they're mean to you. And then, you know what I mean? The next day you wake up late and then everything just starts going wrong. Like a series of unfortunate events that are just happening out of nowhere. You haven't done anything wrong. It's not like you're receiving any type of karma. You're just minding your business and all of a sudden just things start crumbling down. That could be like chaos magic and someone projecting something onto you. And like I said, it's like a reoccurring pattern of just different catastrophic events that just don't make any logical sense. Like, and you're just like, what is going on? And it's something that's really unlikely to happen. So this could be, for example, like you paid your rent. You pay your rent every single month. You never miss a date. You never underpay. And then all of a sudden you get a bill saying that you're getting evicted because you haven't been paying your rent. And you're just like, what? But I have been paying my rent. What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? That's just something that's really dramatic and really unforeseen and just doesn't make any sense, because you're just thinking, but I've been paying my rent. I'm literally looking at the bill right here. So where has this come from? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's just an example. I've got many more, but we'll be here all day. But thank you so much for you guys listening, to whomever has joined in. Again, you may have your own experiences. You may have your own thoughts to share. And that's totally fine, okay? But I hope everybody found this video well. And goodbye.